Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here today on our Sunday edition of the Cabral Concept. Excited to get back into more of our community's questions. We answered 6 questions yesterday on our first house call of the weekend. Today is our second. Each and every weekend answering 6 more of our community's questions every Saturday, every Sunday. And again, if you want to tune in for today's questions and also just kind of read along with them, you're welcome to do so, since I just opened the document up and I'm seeing some big long questions. So if you want to check them out, really go in depth with us, of course, I would love you to do that. You can head on over to stephencabral.com/2431. That is today's show notes page. All right, let's dive into the show. First question is from Lisa. Lisa says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm starting to travel a lot for my job, and I'm wondering if I should be concerned about going through the X-ray machines at airport security several times a year. I'm also curious if you think the check-in using Claire, where they scan your retinas, are safe. I was considering signing up, but I want to get your thoughts first. Thanks." Okay, happy to help answer this. This is something I've researched since I travel quite a bit for my job. So what I would share with you is this. The X-ray machines that you walk through are a little different than the ones that your baggage and other things go through. And they're also different than if you get an X-ray at the hospital for pneumonia or a broken bone or any number of other things. Okay, so these work on radio waves, and they are basically not looking, they're low ionizing, ionizing. They're not looking to penetrate necessarily the skin, since they're looking to see what could be concealed on the outside of the body. So what they are doing is pretty low tech, but it will discover certain objects that are non-human, let's say. The radiation, though, to answer your question, because I have done this research, is about 1/1000th of like a chest X-ray or like a mammogram or something like that. So there's that. So I think it's pretty low radiation. Do I think it's great? No, of course I do not. I don't think it's great at all. Being on an airplane, again, is a lot of radiation just being on the airplane, flying, especially during the day with the sun out, all of that. So there is that. If you don't want to, of course, you can request a pat down, which is always fun, and I'm saying that, of course, facetiously. And it takes a lot of time. So again, you have to just kind of weigh that, which for me, if I'm with my kids, I can always use, hey, I'm with my kids. And so we just walk through the metal detector instead. But now they stopped letting me do that. They only allow my wife to walk through if we're with our kids, which is interesting. So they make me go through the X-ray machine if again, that's what I'm choosing to do instead of the pat down. Now, in terms of Claire, I don't use Claire. I'm debating kind of back and forth. You're simply, what are you allowing them to do? Well, they're taking an image of your retinas. Now, the same thing is basically done on your iPhone for your face recognition, but they're using your unique fingerprint and of your retina or eye-based scan. And so, then all of your information is in their system. Who has access to their system? I don't know. But of course, I know Apple does their best for security, but, again, it can be hacked. So it's this whole thing of who do you want to have all your information? And, in the end, is there anything you can even do about it? So my answer is it's a pick'em. It's a pick'em versus security with your information with Claire. Or it is a little bit of a radiation dose going through airport security. So that's the best I can do. Hopefully that helps. Ashley's up next. Hello, Dr. Cabral. I've been listening to your podcast and following your protocols since I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called undifferentiated connective tissue in 2018. I'm currently doing the CBO protocol, doing the 7-day detox, feel much better and down about 7 pounds. I'm about a week and a half into the CBO protocol. My only issue is that I'm experiencing constipation, loose stool, and afternoon fatigue. Also having some muscle pain at night, almost like growing pains. Also recently got diagnosed with a periampullary diverticulum of the gallbladder. It was told by my GI specialist that this might be why I have a hard time digesting seeds, and nuts and probiotics would help. All right, so kind of giving me a little bit more. You did a food panel, you're looking at some leaky gut. In May of this year, you did a SIBO test and was found to be negative. But again, if you're not doing a bacteria and parasite stool test, I'm not an advocate of just the breath tests alone for SIBO, sometimes you do get false negatives. You actually want to look at, not you, but the lab, you want them to look at your stool to give it the real assessment. Only a stool test is a real test, in my opinion, for SIBO. Just wondering if you work with anybody with periampullary diverticulum of the gallbladder and if it should continue to follow the food sensitivity guide. Okay, so here's what I can share with you. Again, first I have to say is I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical diagnosis, or medical cures. What we do is we work on underlying root cause imbalances. There's certainly an autoimmune-based issue. There's some type of intestinal permeability. There's some type of gut-based issue. If it were me, I can only give advice for me, right? So what I would say is this. I would personally do the 21-day detox. You did 7 days. Excellent. I would do the CBO protocol. I'd be working on rebalancing my gut. I would definitely be doing things like the daily omega-3. I would do the whole daily foundational protocol. I would probably use digestive enzymes to help with breaking down food in general. I would stay away from reactive-based foods. I would use after the CBO protocol, I would use the CBO finisher to help seal up the gut. Periampullary diverticulum is, really just fancy words. We're talking about a diverticulum, so a pocket that's been created, which is not necessarily normal, of the small intestine near where the gallbladder or where because it doesn't exactly say where the bile ducts meet essentially the small intestine. That could be pancreatic ducts as well. So we've worked with lots of people with diverticulitis, diverticulums, and what we want to do is just completely rebalance that gut, work on stress, eliminate things that could be harmful for the gut, like alcohol and any food sensitivities that you may find. So hopefully that's a good place to get you started. And it sounds like you're actually well on your way. Amanda is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've listened to your methylation podcast, and I know I have issues because of genetic testing. The problem is the SNPs I have showing red aren't the ones you mentioned in your podcast. I've read that I should avoid methyl Bs if I have certain high-risk alleles, such as COMT. This is because I may have trouble breaking down dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and estrogen. It's been clinically observed that the body, okay, you're just quoting research, fantastic. I might have to be careful because of my lower COMT activity to avoid supplements with catechol structures such as quercetin, EGCG, which is from green tea, the luteolin, and you talk about you have low B6, your B12 looks okay. You're advised to take your activated B complex, but you're nervous because of the methyl Bs. Okay, yeah, happy to help with this. So I know, COMT and MTHFR and SOD and all these genes inside and out. I've been doing this work for, in terms of genetics, about 15 years. It doesn't mean that I'm the end-all, be-all in this space, and I highly recommend continuing to study and learn and grow, just like I do myself. What I can tell you is this, is that these are all potential issues. So again, please don't let anybody tell you that you automatically have issues because of these specific single nucleotide polymorphisms. It does mean that there can be potential issues there, especially when the body is not balanced. Now, do I think with your specific COMT SNPs or alleles that you should be overdoing methyl donors? I don't. But who's to say the right amount for you? Like, I can't even tell you that. What I can tell you is we want to take enough in order to be able to give you all of the detox and energy and other methyl-based donors that you need for your body. Now, that might be enough in just a packet of daily nutritional support for the day. You might be good to go. Or you might be someone that needs a little bit extra of 1 instead of 2 activated B complex, right? We don't necessarily know, but there are also cofactors. How good is your liver at breaking down these different donors? What about your overall stomach acid and digestion to break down these things and actually have them usable in their, like from food as well, because you're not just getting it from supplements. What are your levels of magnesium? So you want to look at other things besides just, the problem is that conventional medicine and even genetics looks at everything as a single system, and it does not look at it holistically in the body. And if we continue to look at things as a single system, we will never truly get well. So that is my recommendation. All right, Carol's up next. Thank you so much for helping me with the main Dr. Cabral detox and the heavy metal detox. I feel better. My question is about treating hemochromatosis, where some people build up excess iron in the body, especially the liver. Normal treatment is frequent blood donation. My question is the metal detox going to help this? How about regular detox? Thanks, Carol. Okay, so again, I can't provide any type of medical advice. The heavy metal detox helps to remove heavy metals from the body. I'll leave it at that. In terms of hemochromatosis, again, can't give you medical advice or medical treatment plans or cures or diagnosis, but what you want to look at is, okay, why the buildup of iron in the body? You know, what's the issue here? Are we having issues getting it inside the cells? Well, you'd have to run a TIBC from your PCB. You'd have to run a transferritin and a ferritin and any other iron-based labs that you can run with that. Those would be great, saturation rate, et cetera. Then you'll say, okay, is it in the red blood cells? And you can also run a complete blood count, which will look at your hematocrit and means corporal and all the other factors, which show you, hey, how do those red blood cells look? All right, so let's say we have an issue with iron. Let's say with magnesium or zinc or vitamin C or copper or potentially even vitamin D. So we need the cofactors in order to be able to get in the cells. So if it's not in the cells, that's a problem, right? So then your body actually needs the iron, but it can't get it in. So you need the cofactors. Okay, and you want to obviously help out the liver too. Again, we have to greatly improve the liver function. The second part is, yes, but as your iron is high for right now, one, fix the cofactors if that's needed. And two, giving blood is a faster way to remove iron from the body while you're working on overall rebalancing. Now, some people, of course, genetically predisposed to this, but again, that doesn't mean that they have to have it. All right? Alicia's up next. Hi, Dr. Rawl. I hope you're doing well. My question is about Adrenal Soothe supplement. I learned from your podcast that the best is to take it at night or at lunch, and then again after dinner. My highest stress is always in the morning and first half of the day. Is it okay to take Adrenal Soothe with breakfast? Or would that slow me down too much and would it make me feel a little bit sluggish? Big thank you for all your amazing work. I feel like I answered this question, but I don't know if I did. So since I don't know that I did, I'm going to answer it again. So Adrenal Soothe can be used absolutely any time of the day. And I know I did answer that part yesterday on the podcast. Might even been from you, Alicia. And just keep in mind, questions are not answered for about 12 weeks because we have so many questions that come in. They take about 12 weeks to get to your question because it just goes into the queue. You run the stress, mood, and metabolism test. When you run the stress, mood, and metabolism test, or you just go off symptoms of high stress, anxiety, racing heart rate, those types of things. Okay, you can do either. But if your cortisol is out of range in the morning, you can absolutely use Adrenal Soothe at breakfast and at lunch if you want, and at dinner if you want. So we do it with some people. If you heard my interview on Mind Pump, then you heard me talk about what happens. Some of these case studies I was going over had high cortisol all day. All right, well, we do 2 Adrenal Soothe at breakfast, 2 at lunch, and 2 at dinner. But let's say in the morning you took 2 Adrenal Soothe, you're like, you know what? I feel a little lower energy now. Okay, well, something worked. So instead of doing 2 capsules, we do 1 capsule. 1 capsule might be the perfect amount for you. And you might need 3 at dinner. So it might go 1, 2 at lunch, 3 at dinner. So that is exactly how you can take it. And remember, it's a supplement that is meant to supplement your healthy nutrition, healthy lifestyle, and also you working on calming that sympathetic nervous system. So hopefully that's helpful. All right, Kathy's up next and last. She's our last question of the day. So let's see what Kathy has to say. Hi, Dr. Rawl. I'm so happy to have found you several weeks ago. I work with a wonderful holistic chiropractor, and she is following you as well. She has me on a parasite cleanse, and I did a liver cleanse beforehand in January. My question has to do with a friend who has Fragile X-associated tremor ataxia syndrome. Apparently, she is a carrier of the gene and has an adult son with autism who has the RNA gene. I looked on your recent podcast to research, but didn't find anything. Thank you in advance for any info you might share, and I look forward to working with you and your staff in the future. Kathy. Okay. All right. Happy to answer this. So, admittedly, I am not an expert on Fragile X-associated tremor ataxia syndrome, FXTAS. However, I do know what it is, and I do know that it's something that often comes about a little later in life, sometimes 50 plus. It is similar to, I believe, a Parkinson's, maybe even some dementia as well, because there's some memory loss and there's some motor function loss as well. So there can be tremors, as stated in the name itself. So that's why it can look very close to Parkinson's. So what is my recommendation? Well, my recommendation is always, why did this take place? That's it. So if you don't have it at 40, why 50? Is there a genetic marker in the body that says at 50 years old, this is going to happen? No, there is not. There isn't. There is a rain barrel effect with anyone's genetics that when there are too many toxins and too many deficiencies, the body can no longer maintain dynamic equilibrium. And it is that period that the rain barrel overflows. So that is the rain barrel effect. So what we need to do is turn this person's biological clock back, the inside of their body. We can do that a number of ways. My highest recommendation, again, I'm not giving any medical advice, of course, but run the big 5 labs. If you can run the big 5 labs, this person most likely has higher levels of omega-6 inflammatory-based issues. They might have gut issues. They might have heavy metals. They might have sympathetic nervous system stress. They might have imbalanced hormones. Like they might have food sensitivities. So we need to rebalance those. Like there's no supplementing your way around this, all right? We need to know what we are working on. Okay. Then after we know the labs, we can say, because again, this is serious stuff. So then when we have the lab results, we'll say, okay, diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, scientifically backed supplement protocols, and success mindset. Then we can work the whole de-stress protocol that I write about in my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, and we can help this person get well if there's an issue. But they may not even be feeling any of this yet. Great. Don't wait for something to happen. That was the point of the rain barrel effect. Empty your rain barrel now. Run the labs, then 21-day functional medicine detox, then the protocols you get from your, again, it doesn't have to be with us. You can work with our Equal Life team or an integrative health practitioner, level 2 for the labs, or a local naturopathic doctor, your choice. Our friend, Kathy right here. She's working with a holistic chiropractor. Great. She can work with our holistic chiropractor. She might run the labs through Equal Life, but she's working with our holistic chiropractor. We're totally fine with that. We're just looking to be one part of your holistic team. Like that's it. We don't need to run the whole show. We don't believe in ego in natural health or medicine. It should be about helping the individual and developing your own like healthy network. Have a great chiropractor, have a great acupuncturist, have a great massage therapist, right? Like those are all phenomenal. So hopefully this was helpful. And as always, again, I appreciate all of you tuning into the Cabral concept. We appreciate your reviews and your subscribes. If you haven't already subscribed to the show, of course, we would love you to do that. And I'll be back tomorrow with our Mindset and Motivation Monday, our favorite way to start the week.